You talk too much. Every word you speak without purpose. Every sentence you rush to fill silence. Every thought you blurt out before it's ready. It's costing you respect, power, opportunity. You're bleeding them all, and you don't even realize it. Because no one taught you how to speak. They taught you what to say. Please, thank you, yes sir. But never how to use words as tools, as weapons, as instruments of power. I am Thomas Shelby, and today I'll teach you the art of communication that most men never learn. How to speak so people listen. How to stay silent so people lean in. How to use your words with surgical precision until every sentence lands like a blade. Learn this and you'll command rooms without raising your voice. Ignore it and you'll keep being background noise in your own life. Listen carefully. Every word after this one is a lesson. Let me tell you what's wrong with how you communicate. You speak to fill space. You talk because silence makes you uncomfortable. You say things to be liked, to be accepted, to prove you belong in the room. And every time you do, you lose power. Here's why. When you speak constantly, your words become cheap. Inflation. The more of something there is, the less each unit is worth. The man who talks all the time has nothing worth waiting for. His words blend into noise. But the man who speaks rarely, when he opens his mouth, rooms fall silent. People lean forward because they know if he's speaking, it matters. That's the first law of powerful communication. Scarcity creates value. I've sat in rooms with men who loved the sound of their own voice. They filled every pause. They commented on everything. They thought participation meant power. They were wrong. While they were talking, I was listening, learning, watching their mouths reveal weaknesses their minds didn't know they had. And when I finally spoke, one sentence, carefully placed, it cut through everything they'd said. Because I'd waited, because I'd chosen my moment, because my words were rare. You want to be heard? Speak less. It's counterintuitive, but it's true. The man who speaks less is listened to more. Before you say anything, pause. Not a long pause, not awkward silence, just a beat, a moment where you gather yourself, consider your words, and choose them deliberately. That pause does something powerful. It tells the room you're not reactive, you're not desperate to respond, you're not a dog chasing every ball thrown at you. It tells them you think before you speak, and a man who thinks before he speaks is dangerous because he's not giving you his first reaction, he's giving you his calculated response. I use silence constantly. When someone asks me a question, I don't answer immediately. I let the question hang. I let them wonder what I'm thinking. And in that silence, power shifts. They get uncomfortable. They start to fill the space themselves. They reveal more than they intended. And by the time I respond, I've learned something, and they've exposed something. Silence is intelligence gathering disguised as patience. But most men can't handle it. Silence makes them nervous. They rush to fill it because empty space feels like failure, like they're losing the conversation. They are losing, but not because of the silence, because of their fear of it. Learn to sit in silence without squirming. Learn to pause before you respond. Learn to let the room wait for you. That's when you stop being a participant and become the one who controls the conversation. Here's how I want you to think about speaking. You have a limited number of bullets. Each word is one. Would you fire randomly into the air, wasting ammunition? Would you shoot at targets that don't matter? Would you empty your magazine just to make noise? No. You'd aim. You'd wait for the right target. You'd make every bullet count. That's how you should treat your words. Before you speak, ask yourself, what am I trying to accomplish with this sentence? If you don't have a clear answer, don't say it. Every word should serve a purpose, to persuade, to clarify, to command, to gather information, to shift perception. If your words don't do anything, if they're just filling space, swallow them. Keep the bullet in the chamber. I've ended negotiations with a single sentence that other men couldn't end with an hour of rambling. Not because I'm smarter, because I aimed. I knew exactly what I wanted to accomplish, and I chose words that would accomplish it, nothing more. Precision beats volume, always. The man who can say in 10 words what others say in 100 is the man who runs the room, because he respects everyone's time, including his own, because he demonstrates that he's distilled his thinking to its essence. That's mastery. That's what you're aiming for. Communication isn't just about what you say, it's about what you perceive. Before I open my mouth in any room, I've already gathered information. I've read the faces, I've noticed the body language, I've felt the tension or the ease. I've identified who holds power and who's pretending to. This isn't magic, it's attention. Who's leaning forward and who's leaning back? Who's making eye contact and who's avoiding it? Who speaks and who waits? Who's nervous and who's calm? These signals tell you more than words ever could. And once you've read the room, you can calibrate your communication. You know who needs reassurance and who needs challenge. You know where the resistance is and where the openings are. You know what they want to hear and whether to give it to them or deny it. Most men walk into rooms and start performing. They're so focused on what they want to say that they forget to see who they're saying it to. That's backwards. Listen first, watch first, understand first. Then speak from a position of knowledge, not assumption. Every conversation is an exchange of information. The man who gathers more than he gives holds the advantage. So stop rushing to speak. Start rushing to understand. When you finally open your mouth, you'll know exactly what to say, and it will land perfectly, because you aimed it. When you're angry, shut up. When you're excited, slow down. When you're hurt, wait. Emotion is the enemy of strategic communication. It hijacks your mouth and makes you say things your calm mind would never approve. Things you can't take back. Things that cost you more than silence ever would. I've watched men destroy years of progress with one emotional outburst. One sentence spoken in anger. One reaction that revealed exactly where their wounds were. Their enemies took notes and used it later. You must learn to separate what you feel from what you say. Feel the anger, acknowledge it inside, but don't let it reach your tongue. Let it burn in your chest while your face stays stone and your voice stays steady. That's control, real control. When someone provokes me, and they try constantly, I don't give them the satisfaction of a reaction. I stay silent, or I respond with calm so cold it disturbs them. Because here's what they wanted. They wanted me to explode. They wanted to see me lose control. They wanted proof that they could reach me. I never give them that proof, and neither should you. Develop the gap between stimulus and response. When something triggers you, don't react. Pause, breathe, ask yourself, what does this person want me to do? Then do the opposite. Respond from strategy, not emotion. That's how you stay in control of every conversation. I want you to do an exercise. Take something you want to say, a point you want to make, an argument you want to present. Now cut it in half. Remove every unnecessary word. Remove every repeated idea. Remove every qualifier, every hedge, every filler. What's left? The core, the blade, the part that actually matters. That's what you should say, nothing more. Powerful communicators don't pad their speech. They don't cushion. They don't soften with endless qualifications. They say what they mean, directly, cleanly, and then they stop. Weak speakers do the opposite. They circle the point. They approach it from multiple angles. They add I think, and maybe, and sort of, until the message is buried under so much hedging that no one knows what they actually said. That's not communication, that's hiding. If you have something to say it. Stand behind it. Don't dilute it with weakness. I think we should probably consider maybe changing the approach. That's nothing. Change the approach. That's something. See the difference? One is a man unsure of himself, testing the waters, ready to retreat. The other is a man who knows what he wants and isn't afraid to say it. Which one commands respect? Fewer words, more conviction. That's the formula. It's not just what you say, it's how you say it. Your voice is an instrument, and most men have never learned to play it. They speak too fast because they're nervous. They speak too high because they're tense. They trail off at the end of sentences because they don't trust their own words. All of this undermines their message. Slow down. When you speak slowly, you project confidence. You show that you're not rushing to finish, not afraid of being interrupted, not desperate for validation. Speak from your chest, not your throat. A deeper voice carries more authority, not artificially deep, just grounded, rooted, coming from a stable place. Finish your sentences. Don't let them fade out. The end of a statement is where the power lands. If you trail off, you weaken everything that came before. And pause. Between sentences, between ideas. Let the weight of what you said settle before you move on. I've seen men with average ideas sound brilliant because of how they spoke. And I've seen men with brilliant ideas sound mediocre because they delivered them like they were apologizing. Your voice matters. Your pace matters. Your tone matters. Master the instrument, and even simple words become powerful. The most powerful word in any language is no, and most men can't say it. They hedge. I'm not sure that works for me. They delay. Let me think about it. They soften. I wish I could, but... All because they're afraid. Afraid of disappointing. Afraid of conflict. Afraid of being disliked. So they say yes to things that drain them. They commit to obligations that steal their time. They agree to requests that don't serve them. And then they wonder why they have no time, no energy, no progress. Learn to say no, clearly, directly, without excessive justification. No. That's a complete sentence. You don't owe an explanation. You don't need to make them feel better about your refusal. You just need to refuse. When I say no, I don't apologize for it. I don't dress it up. I don't leave room for negotiation. No, and then silence. It's uncomfortable. For them, that's the point. Because every yes you give away is a no to yourself, to your goals, to your time, to your future. So be generous with your no. Protect your yes for what actually matters. That's powerful communication, knowing when to speak and knowing when to refuse. The best communicators aren't the best speakers. They're the best listeners. When someone speaks to me, I listen completely, not waiting for my turn to talk, not planning my response, actually listening. Because in their words, I find everything I need. Their fears, their desires, their weaknesses, their tells. People reveal themselves when they talk, constantly. They can't help it. Every sentence is a window into their mind. But you miss all of it if you're busy thinking about what you'll say next. So shut up and listen. Listen to the words they choose. Listen to what they emphasize. Listen to what they avoid. Listen to the emotions underneath the logic. And when they finish, wait. Don't rush to respond. Let the silence sit for a moment. Then when you speak to what they actually said. Not to what you wanted to talk about. To them, to their words, to their concerns. That's rare, and it's powerful, because most people have never felt truly heard. When you give someone that feeling, the feeling of being completely listened to, they trust you, they open up more, they become allies. All because you did the one thing almost no one does anymore. And you paid attention. Now you understand. Words are not just sounds. They're tools, weapons, instruments of power or submission. And every time you speak, you're making a choice to command or to comply, to reveal or to conceal, to strengthen your position or weaken it. So here's your mission. Speak less, listen more, pause before you respond. Choose your words like they cost you something, because they do. Develop the voice of someone who doesn't need to shout, the calm of someone who doesn't react, the precision of someone who makes every sentence count. Do this, and you'll watch something shift in how people look at you, in how they listen, in how they respond. If someone you know hasn't learned this, if they're still bleeding power through careless words, send them this. Share it with a friend who needs to understand that communication is not about talking, it's about impact. Because the man who masters his words masters his world. He speaks, and rooms fall silent. He pauses, and people lean in. He says no, and it means something. That's the art of communication. And now it's yours.